So today I'm going to be doing a video on the end of the Civil War because I've been doing this series on the Civil War and I've done the start, I've done politicians, I've done some generals, I've done battles, I've done like where the South is so dependent on the economy, but I haven't done the end of the Civil War, done the amendments even. So I thought I might as well. So the end of the Civil War. Let's get right to it. It happened on April 9th, 1865, and it happened in Virginia in a Pomato Courthouse. And it's where Robert E. Lee surrendered his troops to General Grant. By the way, Custer was also there. I mentioned it in the video on him. Well, Lee had been unable to reach Richmond in Virginia, the capital of the Confederacy, and well, the Confederate Army was weakened because it had been split in two, so Lee really had no real option other than surrendering to the Union. So the Army of Northern Virginia had been retreating from the Union and from the Pomato campaign, and had found itself crossing the Virginia countryside, lacking pretty much everything. They didn't have food, they didn't have supplies, and they weren't it wasn't the full army, it was just North Carolina. Well, under Philip Sheridan, from the Union Army, the Union had kind of overtaken the Confederacy, and they had blocked their retreat and even taken prisoners at Sailor's Creek, specifically 6,000 prisoners, which was not good. And well, volunteers and soldiers from the Confederacy force, they knew the war was pretty much done for them. And politically, the 13th Amendment was being passed, and people knew about it. They had just trapped like 6,000 people. They had no food, no supplies. So, well, what could they do? They thought, rather than die here, I'm just gonna desert, and that's what happened. There were more and more dissertations because soldiers really saw no other option. It was either do that or die. And well, by April 8th, the remaining Confederate Army, Lee included, they were surrounded and they had really no way out. So he told Grant on April 9th, "Hey, I kind of want to surrender. Can I meet you and we can discuss this?" Grant thought, "Hey, let's meet at William McLean at home at 1 o'clock and let's discuss this." You have to keep in mind that, Grant wasn't the president, Lee wasn't the president either, but there were generals, and I constantly forget who the leader of the Confederate Army was. I constantly forget. Give me just a second. Anyway, so Lee and Grant, despite Grant not being president, they met and they just negotiated the terms of the surrender, with Lee agreeing to. It's Davis, yeah, sorry. Davis was the leader of the. I'm so sorry. Leader of he was the president of the Confederacy. Lincoln was the president of the Union, and the generals were Lee and Grant. Anyway, they, like I was saying, they met, they discussed it, and Lee, he agreed to the terms imposed by Grant. But I really had no choice. It was a negotiation, but it was more of a, here are some terms. You can either accept them or your army is going to die. So, and the thing is, they knew each other. They had both fought in the Mexican-American War. So they knew each other. They had exchanged talked, even letters. I don't know. They talked to each other. And now they were fighting each other, and Grant was helping Lee surrender. Well, helping. He was accepting Lee's surrender, more like. And, well, I said they negotiated the terms. What mostly happened was that Grant thought, you want terms? Here are some terms. There you go. Only he signed them, and some of the terms were that the men and the officers pardoned. They would be sent home to their property, and they would be able to keep the horse. Because the horse, it made it seem kind of stupid, but the horse was what could get them, like, could pull aggravated equipment, so it could help plant stuff. And officers of the Confederacy could keep their arms, not their arms, like their arms. And the men from the Confederacy, from Lee's army, they would be given Union rations because the Confederate rations were not good enough. They were dying, like men were dying. The Union wasn't exactly a picnic, but it was better. And Grant told his officers, he would have to shush a band because when he came back and he told, oh, Lee surrendered, people started celebrating, there was music, blah, blah. Grant had to stop the music and say, the war's over, the werewolves are our countrymen again. So, I mean, I'm not saying that happened and then all conflict stopped. There were rebellions, but the war was eventually over. And that is the end of the Civil War. Again, I am so sorry for forgetting who Davis was. I've never done the Civil War. In my defense, I've never done the Civil War at school. All I know is that it happened. That's why I'm doing the research. And yeah, I'm gonna leave it there. So I have nothing else to say. So yeah, I'm just gonna stop there. I hope you liked it. I hope you found it interesting. And yeah, thank you for watching. Bye.